Good evening everyone and welcome to tonight's special meeting of Council on the 6th of August 2025, and I declare this meeting open at 7:31. Welcome to those watching online and to those in the gallery. The City of Swan acknowledges the traditional custodians of this region, the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, and their continuing connection to the land, waters and community. And we pay our respects to elders past, present and their descendants. The terms and conditions of entry into this meeting are posted on the door as you enter. Please ensure that you have read them prior to attending this meeting and also that you abide by them. Tonight's attendance and apologies. We have council members in attendance, and we have an apology from Councillor Ringo, Councillor Singh and Councillor McCulloch for this evening, and I don't think I have any other apologies. And Councillor Catalano is absent. Declarations of financial and proximity interests and interests affecting impartiality. We have no declarations submitted at this time. Are there any councillors who need to submit a declaration of interest? If there is, just hand that up to the CEO, please. So we move to part 5, which is public question time. Questions and answers recorded in the minutes of the meeting may be summarised in accordance with the Local Government Administration Regulations of 1996. 5.1, answers to questions which were taken on notice, there were nil. And 5.1.1, questions of which due notice has been given. There were 5 questions received from Ben Heppenstall, and they've been answered and sent to Ben, and they'll form part of the minutes of this meeting. And we move to part 6, which is deputations, and we have nil. Part 8, reports. Now, Councillor Bowman, you may want to discuss your motion further behind closed doors.
Well, I'm happy to move it in front of non-closed doors, but then if, I suppose, if there's any then information, I can try to not go into anything of the confidential agenda. But maybe need a bit of guidance if I start to getting told. Okay, happy with that? Okay, so 8.1.1 RFT 25JR17, Design and Construction of Swan Active Ellenbrook. Proposed alternate motion by Councillor Bowman. Just one moment, just meant to say that in the event that either of these two alternative motions don't get up, they will need someone to foreshadow the officer's recommendation. That can't be me because I'm about to move mine. Madam Mayor, as a Pearce Ward councillor and someone that's worked on this project tirelessly for the last 4 years, it gives me my privilege to move that council resolves to move the substitution noted on page 19 of the confidential agenda to select organisation 1 as preferred tender for the value of $125,445,247.10, excluding GST, inclusive of provisional sums of $1,123,995.36, excluding GST. 3, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to enter in negotiation with Organisation 1 for minor variations which meets the City's requirements for the RFT 25JR17, Design and Construction of Swan Active Ellenbrook. 4, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to remove the preferred tender status from Organisation 1 should negotiations for minor variations be unsuccessful to the City, and proceed to select and enter negotiations for any minor variations with Organisation 2. And 5, request the Chief Executive Officer to advise council members of the outcome of the City's request for additional state funding. And Madam Mayor, I won't give my full reasons that I've given because we would have to go behind closed doors, but I believe I can say my reason is the substitution has a minor cost implication but will mitigate potential hazards and significantly enhance the visual appearance of the facility.
Thank you, Councillor Bowman. I'll ask to have a seconder. Councillor Jones.
Question.
Question, Deputy Mayor.
Without breaching the confidentiality provisions, could Councillor Bowman explain which page 19 is referring to, because there's double numbering at page 19 of the confidential agenda that says page 16 of the report, and I can't see that that substitution in there.
Madam Mayor, just so I can get some guidance, can I actually say what it actually is? And obviously from the information that's there, it's $32,000 different from the officer's recommendation, which is now posted publicly. So it's increasing it by $32,000. There's one thing that got suggested to take out. I'm saying keep that in, and it's $32,000. It sort of goes like this, as opposed to going under, but I can't say anything.
So it's
Okay,
on the
so it's page 16 of the hard copy and page 19 in the confidential.
page 16 and page 19,
Okay,
and it's the second substitution from the bottom of the table.
And it's $32,000 difference.
thank you.
Okay, we know what we're talking
Okay,
about.
so we had Councillor Jones as the seconder. I'll ask, is there any councillor who wishes to speak against the motion? Deputy Mayor, thank you. Councillor Bowman. I'm sure you do. Do you wish to debate it?
Yes.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, it's a bit hard to keep within the confidentialities, but I'm going to try and give it a go. So, Madam Mayor, I'm going to use cars. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, those councils were on council on 23rd of September 2020, voted for what would be considered a Hyundai i30 or a Suzuki Swift. Problem was the garage was too small, and the consultant said you might have to dig the garage under the ground. That was a 25-metre pool. Now what we've got in front of us is, and I'm not a car person, probably a Ford Everest or a Toyota Kluger. It's a 50-metre pool, the slides, the allied health, 4 basketball courts, hopefully to wobble standards as well. Madam Mayor, what's actually happened is when we've gone out to the tenders, and hats off to the staff that have been involved in this project. I remember the first briefing when I saw all the risks, and it was a little bit disappointing that we came to the conclusion that the biggest risk will be Western Power. But Madam Mayor, the way the tender was done, and it was extremely professional, was there was an opportunity to value engineer. Now, councillors, value engineering is not putting a substandard item in. So if I go back to my cars ones, you can have the premium paint colour, you can have the alloy wheels, you can have the leather seats, but if you take those 3 things away, it's still a Toyota Kluger with the same motor, don't ask me what size engine, it's got the same size wheels and it drives the same. And that's what staff have done. They've gone and said, okay, where can we look at some savings? And they've come back with $7.2 million of savings. There was one thing, and Madam Mayor, I'm like everyone else, I want it to be as best as I can, but I've got to be mindful, councillors, that $7.2 million extra which staff have cut would represent 6% of rates. Now, councillors, we can't keep adding expenses and increasing things, like I said at the last meeting when we adopted the budget, if we don't want to actually increase. So, Madam Mayor, this is responsible. Madam Mayor, it provides the long, and I'll be asking for 2 more minutes, please, long project that this community has asked for. We know Ellenbrook is the centre of the city of Swan, and we should be building the facility, the biggest facility, not facilities on the boundary. So, councillors, this is one of those generational projects.
Councillor Bowman, that's your...
Can I have
Ask
2
for
more minutes?
extension.
I'll ask, is there anyone... Extension for 2 minutes? Does anyone object? No, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For $125 million, it's probably worthwhile. Madam Mayor, the reductions that staff are actually suggesting are the leather seats or the alloy wheels, but they're still providing us the car. But what they're not doing is maxing out our credit card that we can't afford to pay, or we ask other people to pay. And so, Madam Mayor, I looked at the item. It's extremely fantastic project. It's what our community has been asking for. It's not the 25-metre paddling pool that was happening before. But Madam Mayor, the one little change I had to do, it was the smallest item, and again, this is what staff have done. They've gone through everything to see where they could save. You get to that point that you save a couple of dollars and you may make it start to look cheap. And I did not want us to allow a $32,000 saving that would have something sitting out on display that would look awful, that I can't say what it was, but if you think like that and you've got the person next to you and you wind that up, that might be the thing, that we can hide that for $32,000. And that's what we've done. But Madam Mayor, this community, my community, Councillor Jones's community, we've been promised so many times. We've had a lot of false starts, Madam Mayor. We had 2 false starts. And in the Olympics, you're usually disqualified, I believe. But we've got it again. We went again, and we've got something that's absolutely exceptional. Hats off to state government, the Deputy Premier. She gave us a nice little bit of land that has allowed us to make this an amazing project for everybody, and actually for people that don't live just in the catchment, because it's a train right next door. So, Madam Mayor, as I started with, I will finish with, as a Pierce Ward councillor who's worked tirelessly on this project, I would suggest more than anyone around this room, it gives me great privilege to be able to put this motion to council.
Well, thank you very much, Councillor Bowman, for your humorous effort to remain confidential. It's appreciated. And what I probably should make a disclaimer that we don't have any affiliation with Toyota or Kluger. And I'll just ask Councillor Jones as a seconder.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I've nothing further to add to the car debate, as cars to me are red, white, black, wouldn't have a clue what they are. However, if neither gets up, I'd like to foreshadow the officer's recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Jones. I'll ask, is anyone against? Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. This is our largest project. This is the largest dollar item that I've voted on in my nearly 10 years on council. And just to be absolutely clear, I am absolutely in favour of building this pool. I'm 100% behind it. Why have I opposed this? The reason is I've got an alternate motion of my own. The reason I put my alternate motion up was because I wanted to give council the opportunity to consider the full unvalue engineered version of the pool, the full $132 million version. And what I'm putting on the table in my foreshadowed motion is the BMW with the 328, the BMW 328, what's that, the 2.8 litre engine, with the sunroof, with the leather seats, with the sound system, with the aircon, with the fancy paint job, with the Go Faster stripe, with the alloy wheels, absolutely every single optional extra you could imagine. And why is that important? Because we need to be sure we've actually debated it and we are actually considering that. So councillors, this is an opportunity to decide to go for the very best quality pool. Why is it important to consider that? Well, it's for the people of Ellenbrook. And we're making a decision for at least the next 50 years. I assume this pool's going to be around for the next 50 years. So it's an extra $7.2 million. I'll be proposing over 50 years. That's, I think, about $120,000 a year if you don't include interest. So it's a decision we have to make. I've put it on the table because I think a decision of this magnitude, we need to have all our options on the table and we need to consider which way we go. Do we go for the value engineered solution with the addition of the $32,000? When I look at what that is, I think I'm not entirely sure that is actually a capital item. I don't even know what it's doing in there. Or do we go for the full value version? So, councillors, I'll be voting against this, but I'm actually in favour of the pool. I would like to hear from councillors who are interested in going for the fully optioned version of the swimming pool. If anybody's interested, here's your chance. But I think I'll actually say something slightly different. If I don't hear from a councillor in debate that they are interested in seconding my motion, for the extra $7.2 million, then I will actually vote for Councillor Bowman's motion because I think it's so important. So, councillors, think carefully. This is your chance to build the very best quality pool to get the Mercedes or the BMW, or alternatively, we can have the Toyota. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I'll ask, is anyone in favour? Anyone like to speak for the motion? Councillor Miles.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And now I'm a bit scared getting up and speaking because I fear that any minute wasted in progressing this project will end up with my death in Ellenbrook. But I'll just take a few minutes to say how excited I am for this stage of this project. I remember vividly, not that long ago when I was younger, which is hard to imagine, I'm sure, that we had to do swimming lessons in the City of Stirling aquatic facilities because my home in the city of Swan didn't have the capacity for all of the amazing young people to learn how to become future Olympians. And so I think, this is really exciting as we live, on the peri-urban fringe, and places like us, miss out on these facilities. We're not right next to the beach or fancy private school gyms and pools. So having this facility, the support of the state government and the federal government, again, thank you to the Deputy Premier Rita Saffioti, also to Tanya Lawrence, our local member. Their work and their support with the funding would not make this project, without their support, this project would not be possible. So I think it's very important that we recognise that and say, I hope you keep giving us money for future projects, but let's just get this done.
Thank you, Councillor Miles. Would anyone like to speak against the motion? Would anyone like to speak for the motion? Councillor Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to bring in on the last point that was just made about the funding, it's rather sad that you couldn't recognise that Christian Porter put up $25 million, federal government, for this to progress. And in fact, if you go back to today, we're talking around about $40 million for that pool, as I recall, and it escalated and went to a silly number, and so we pulled the pin on it. And anyhow, getting back to the point though, what I want to address here is this is a Rolls-Royce project that's being proposed by Councillor Bowman. It's an absolute Rolls-Royce. It is of the highest quality, the highest standard that the community in Ellenbrook expect. In fact, the whole city will expect. To try and denigrate it, as I heard in opposition, that it's not anything but that. Well, that's absolutely wrong. We have the ability in the future to expand and grow further, and of course, future federal government budgets and the like, and elections, we just might be able to get some more money to do those things. This is within the bounds of what we can do now. And I want to make a point though. I heard when we did our brought down our budget this year that we should be bringing down a budget of no rate increases. Now that came from a number of councillors in this room that we should not increase our rates because basically we were costing people a lot of money. Well, here we are with a polar opposite saying spend another $7.2 million when on one hand we're saying don't increase rates, and on the other hand, polar opposite, $7.2 million bigger spend, which is something that could be done in the future, and in fact will be done in the future. So we're not producing anything of a second-rate product here. We have a world-class, a top-class product that's been designed, and congratulations to the team that have put this together. We've come a long way from the original $25 million that was put up by Christian Porter to get the ball rolling. And I'm very pleased to say that I was part of that. And whilst it has taken a long time to get here, we are at last here, and I'll be very pleased to vote for this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Henderson. I'll ask, does anyone like to speak against the motion? And the last call, would anyone like to speak for the motion? No? Councillor Bowman, you're right to reply.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, I'm not taking clothes off, but I'm going to take my jacket off so I can get in between Liberal and Labor. And we all know I'm purple. So, Madam Mayor, can we thank all those who've donated?
Yes.
And can we let everyone know that we're open to more donations to make even a bigger facility? But Madam Mayor, it's a bit disappointing that we are in front of camera, because I can't say exactly what I want, but we'll go with the car analogy as well, because I think I can get away with that. Madam Mayor, Councillor Johnson said his alternative is proposing the BMW 328, I believe. Madam Mayor, that's not correct. Because Madam Mayor, all he's doing is proposing the same car that I'm proposing, the Toyota Kluger or Ford Everest, with a few add-ons. Because if he was actually proposing the BMW, he would be proposing an 8-lane indoor pool. He would be proposing the 6 basketball courts instead of the 4. He'd be proposing the extra sports gym space as well. So, Madam Mayor, for $7.2 million, when Councillor Henderson hit the nail on the head, councillors who are voting against rate increases but are wanting to increase a spend of $7.2 million, and last month it was $250,000. So, Madam Mayor, what we have got is an extremely good project. And yes, Councillor Henderson, I probably should have used the analogy of a Rolls Royce, but that's not the sort of vehicle that I look at. But Madam Mayor, we are putting an amazing project to this council. We have realised that we can value engineer, and let me get this very clear. This is not a reduction on the quality of materials. These are alternative materials that we've asked the professionals, the engineers, the designers, and said, it's a little bit expensive. What can you suggest to make this project an amazing project, but by saving a few bucks? Remember, councillors, that $7.2 million is ratepayers' funds. And they've all just got their rates now, and I don't see anyone happy with that. So they're not going to be happy with us just throwing $7.2 million out for the premium paint colour and alloy wheels. This project, my motion, 25 metre indoor, 50 metre outdoor, water slides, allied health, 4 basketball courts, wobble standard, yes, thank you. Also a huge gym. We are making money in the facilities we're putting in there. Swimming pools don't make money. But Madam Mayor, this is going to be the best project that this city has done. And it is going to be the project, the place that people come from, not just in Allenbrook, because we are the centre of the city of Swan. It's going to come from outside that as well, because swimming lessons, 50-metre pools, we've got everything, Madam Mayor. So let's get on and build it.
I'll now put this to the vote. Ask those in favour. Aye. Councillor Bowman, Councillor Jones, Councillor Miles, Councillor Zanino, Councillor Henderson, Councillor Podovnik, Deputy Mayor Johnson, Councillor Howlett and myself. Motion is carried. 9 all. 9 nil. I was going to say nil. All nil. Thank you very, very much, councillors. Thank you to those people in the gallery. Thank you to those watching at home.
Close the meeting.
I now bring this meeting and conclude that tonight's meeting closed at 7:55.